A drone hit a nuclear power plant yesterday. Not an explosion, not a catastrophe. One drone out of 3 that crossed a desert border, slipped through the defenses of the United Arab Emirates, and struck an electrical generator on the outer perimeter of the Baraka nuclear energy plant. The IAEA said the incident forced one reactor to temporarily rely on emergency diesel generators. No radiation was released. No one was hurt. And almost no one is talking about what it means that this happened at all. Here's something worth sitting with for a moment. The U.S. and Israel's war with Iran has now stretched into its 11th week, 11 weeks. And in that span, the people managing this conflict, the diplomats, the envoys, the mediators, have not produced a lasting agreement. What they have produced is a ceasefire that keeps breaking. And now a drone circling a nuclear facility in the Gulf. So when President Trump posted to Truth Social on Sunday that for Iran, the clock is ticking and they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them, ask yourself, what exactly is that clock measuring? Because it doesn't seem to be measuring progress toward peace. MS now wash. Engtan has been locked in a war with Iran since U.S. and Israeli forces launched strikes in late February. The conflict has shaken the Middle East and sent energy prices climbing. The entry point into this story, the thing that doesn't quite add up, is the word again. Trump warned Iran again. He threatened again. He posted in all capitals again. The administration framed this as urgency. But urgency, when it is issued repeatedly and without consequence, stops being urgency. It becomes something else. It becomes noise that the other side learns to calibrate. Channels Television on March 6th, Trump wrote, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender." Then, on March 21st, the U.S. was reportedly preparing for peace talks with 6 demands. Iran refused to engage with several of those demands. Then came what the administration called a productive pause, a very good phone call, the suggestion of secret talks with select Iranian officials. IRGC-affiliated Iranian state media reported that no such negotiations had taken place. This is the rhythm that has defined 11 weeks of diplomacy. Announce progress. Iran denies it. Warn of consequences. Repeat the 2. Sides have been communicating through mediator Pakistan, but they have failed to reach a lasting agreement amid a shaky temporary truce. Pakistan, a nuclear-armed state with its own complicated relationship with both Washington and Tehran, is carrying the weight of brokering what could be one of the most consequential agreements in recent Middle Eastern history. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson confirmed on Monday that Iran had submitted a response and that exchanges with Washington were continuing through those Pakistani intermediaries. That is not nothing. But consider the gap between what Iran is offering and what the U.S. is demanding. Iran delivered a 14-point proposal to Pakistani mediators, a revised version of an earlier proposal that Trump had already rejected and described as garbage. The distance between the 2 sides is not a rounding error. It is a chasm. Here is what the paper trail shows. Peace talks have been mediated by Pakistan and have so far failed, with the U.S. remaining firm on its demand that Iran abandon its nuclear program entirely, and Iran underscoring its right to enrichment. That is the core impasse. It was the core impasse before the war started, Arted. It was the core impasse that scuttled the 2015 nuclear deal. It is, in a real sense, the same argument this region has been having for 2 decades, now being conducted with active military hostilities in the background, and a Strait of Hormuz that remains, as of this morning, under a dual naval blockade. Domestic gas prices in the U.S. continue to soar amid the double naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil trade route. Tehran, already crippled by sanctions before the war, faces a worsening economic crisis. Both sides then are bleeding. And both sides, in their own way, are telling their domestic audiences that they are not the ones blinking. Now consider one more detail from the paper trail, a quiet one, the kind that tends to surface and then disappear before anyone can assign it the weight it deserves. Classified U.S. intelligence assessments of Iran's military capacity have revealed that Iran has regained access to key missile sites and launchers, contrary to statements made by Trump administration officials that Iran's missile stockpile had been destroyed. Read that again. The the public claim from the administration. Iran's missiles are gone. The classifi, de-assessment. They are not, that gap between what is being said from the podium and what intelligence agencies are privately reporting is not a footnote. It is a fault line. MS now, and then Sunday happened. 3 drones crossed the UAE's western border with Saudi Arabia. 2 were intercepted. 1 got through. The IAEA chief Rafael Grossi expressed grave concern and warned that military activity threatening nuclear facilities was unacceptable. Officials have not attributed responsibility, though the reference to a western border, not a maritime approach, raises questions over potential non-Iranian launch points, which means there is a possibility, not confirmed, not dismissed, that the drone which hit the nuclear plant was not directly Iranian at all. It may have been a proxy, a militia, someone who wants the ceasefire dead and the escalation ladder climbed. Fighting has also heated up between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, despite a nominal ceasefire there, further straining the wider truce. Here is the part that should concern all of us. The warning Trump issued Sunday is not new. The language, the clock, the urgency, the all-caps finality has appeared, read in variations throughout this 11-week conflict. What is new is the context in which it arrived. It arrived the same day a drone hit a nuclear facility. It arrived the same day Trump called Netanyahu. It arrived ahead of a Tuesday meeting in the White House Situation Room, where Trump is expected to meet with senior national security officials to discuss options for military action against Iran. That meeting is not a routine check-in. Options for military action in the Situation Room after 11 weeks of a war that is supposed to be in ceasefire, that is a decision point. And the warning on Truth Social may not have been directed at Iran alone. It may have been a signal to the people gathering in that room, a preview of what the president is prepared to authorize. The open questions here are the ones that don't have answers yet, and they matter precisely because of that. First, if the classified assessment confirms Iran still has its missiles, and the public posture says otherwise, what does that mean for the military options being presented Tuesday? Planning built on a false premise produces action with unpredictable consequences. Second, who launched those drones at B? Iraq? No one has claimed responsibility, and the UAE has not attributed the attack. If it was a proxy operating without direct Iranian command authority, then the peace talks are not really stalled over Iran's decisions alone. They are hostage to actors who may have no interest in any deal, on any terms, ever. That is a different problem entirely, and it has no box on any negotiating framework. Trump's clock is ticking, but no one has agreed on what happens when it runs out.